Hello everyone! This video is about Sultan Khan, and I'm sure a lot of you probably never even heard of the guy, but his life story and his chess story are simply too amazing not to tell. I will keep it short though. He was a servant. He was a servant to a British lord in India, and he never learned how to play chess. He knew the rules of the Indian chess, but the rules of Indian chess were different. You had different promotions, you had different stalemating ideas, you had, well, the pawn could only move one square, not two squares. But his master knew that he was really talented for Indian chess. And so when his master went to England, he took him with him. And they organized a tournament. He gathered some British grandmasters and they organized a training tournament for Sultan Khan. And Sultan Khan performed very poorly. I think he tied for last place. But a couple of months later, he entered the British Chess Championship and he won the entire event. I think winning all games and only drawing one game. So quite a spectacular feat for someone who never actually played chess. And this game I'm gonna show you now is played in 1930, so 1 year after he won the British Championship. And in this tournament he won third place. Ahead of him were only two world champions, Max Juve and Jose Raul Capablanca. And this game he's actually playing against Jose Raul Capablanca, and he beats him, yes. Someone who never played chess and has been studying chess for a year defeated Jose Raul Capablanca. So let's see this game. Sultan Khan is white and Capablanca is black. We have knight to f3, knight to f6, d4, b6, c4, bishop to b7, knight to c3, e6, a3, d5, the queen's Indian defense. We have c captures on d5, e captures on d5, and bishop g5. We have a bishop to e7 by Capablanca, e3, Capablanca castles, bishop to d3, knight to e4, bishop to f4, knight to d7, queen to c2, attacking the knight. We have f5 by Capablanca, knight to b5, threatening that c7 pawn as it's attacked 3 times now, so Capablanca plays bishop to d6. We have knight captures on d6, c captures on d6, and h4 by Sultan Khan. So rook to c8, attacking the queen, queen to b3, queen to e7, knight to d2, knight d to f6, knight captures on e4, f captures on e4, and bishop to e2. And now rook to c6. Capablanca is preparing to double up on the c file. We have g4 by Sultan Khan, and now rook f to c8, doubling up on the c file. And Sultan Khan plays g5. We have knight to e8, and now bishop to g4, attacking that rook on c8. And here is kind of a critical position of the game. Capablanca plays rook to c1 check. He wants to exchange this rook and also get this rook out from being attacked by the bishop with a tempo. But Sultan Khan has a different idea. He plays king to d2. And this allows Capablanca to capture Sultan's queen. And he plays rook to c2 check. Sultan Khan captures, we have capture, and king captures on c2. And Capablanca did win a queen, but well, he also lost 2 rooks. So we have queen to c7 check, we have king to d2, queen to c4, now bishop to e2, attacking the queen, queen to b3, now rook to b1, defending that b2 pawn, king to f7, rook h to c1, king to e7, rook to c3, kicking the queen, queen to a4, b4, and now queen to d7. Capablanca will try to go to the other side of the board with the queen. We have rook b to c1, and now Sultan Khan is controlling the c file with his doubled rooks. We have a6, rook to g1, queen to a4, rook to c1, queen back to d7, and now Sultan plays h5. We have king to d8, rook to c2, queen to h3, king to c1, queen to h4, and for a couple of moves now they'll be just rearranging the pieces, going for some subtle advantages, but nothing really too important. We have king to b2, queen to h3, rook to c1, queen to h4, rook to c2, queen to h3. And it's important to note that well, in this position Capablanca doesn't really have any plans. He can't really do anything. Only Sultan Khan can come up with a plan. So we have a4, queen back to h4, king to a3, queen to h3, bishop to g3, queen to f5, bishop to h4, g6, and now h6, queen to d7, b5, a5, bishop to g3, and queen to f5. We have bishop to f4, queen to h3, king to b2, queen to g2, and king to b1. And this is kind of an interesting position. Capablanca can't really capture this f2 pawn here. If Capablanca were to capture this pawn, he would get a bishop to g4, attacking the queen from this rook on c2, and after he would play something like queen to h4, then simply bishop to e6. And this is a beautiful position, as Capablanca would be without a move. So this bishop cannot move to any square. This knight can't move to any square also. And the queen has nowhere to go. The only place queen can go is h5, but then rook to h2 will capture the queen. So it's a very difficult position for Capablanca after this king to b1. So we have queen back to h3, king to a1, queen to g2, king to b2, queen to h3, rook to g1, bishop to c8, and now rook to c6. As Capablanca put this bishop on c8, now b7 is no longer protecting c6, and this move is allowed. So he plays rook to c6, attacking this b6 pawn. We have queen to h4, now rook g to c1, bishop to g4, and now bishop to f1. Sultan doesn't want to exchange this bishop, of course. We have queen to h5, now preparing bishop to e2. So we have rook to e1 defending this, and now queen to h1. We have rook back to c1, queen back to h5, and now king goes to c3. We have queen to h4, bishop to g3, and queen captures finally on g5. And now we have king to d2, now protecting bishop from ever going to e2. Queen to h5, and now rook captures on b6. Now this he won this very important pawn, and now he created this strong b5 passed pawn. We have king to e7, bishop to b7, rook to b7 check, king to e6, b6, knight to f6, and bishop to b5, queen to h3, and rook to b8. And in this position, Jose Raul Capablanca resigned, as there's no way to stop this pawn from queening. Only move would be something like maybe knight to d7, but then after rook to e8 check and king to f7, simply b7 would be completely winning, as the rook cannot be captured. If the king captures the rook, then simply b7, b8 queen, and this knight is pinned. He cannot capture here. And if he doesn't do anything, well, simply bishop captures knight, and then b8 queen is on the board. So a very nice game by Mr. Sultan Khan against the former world champion Jose Raul Capablanca. And like I said, he finished third this tournament, but it was a very strong tournament. Only players ahead of him were the two world champions. And Sultan Khan played chess actively in Europe only for 5 years. After that, his master took him back to India with him, and well, no one ever heard of him. There is one story that while they were in London, his master invited the American chess team for a dinner at his place in London, and they thought, well, yeah, sure, let's go and we'll hang out with Sultan, play some games. But when they arrived, actually, master of his was just talking about himself, and well, the only interaction they had with Sultan Khan was when he was serving them drinks and food. So it was a really awkward situation for the American chess team. Yeah, and it's who knows what he might have accomplished if he stayed in Europe and if he wasn't a servant by their law. I will put a description. I will put a link in the description of this video so you can read more about the guy. It's quite a fascinating story, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It isn't a fancy game as you would maybe enjoy it, but you can't really beat Jose Raul Capablanca, in a couple of moves. So it's a well-deserved victory indeed by Sultan Khan. So yeah, that's it for this video. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here, and thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.